I come from a good family, a hardworking family with a stay-at-home mother and a father that worked very hard. They taught me the value of the dollar and how to respect myself and others. I found myself in need of services due to no fault of my upbringing or no fault of my family. I excelled in high school. I was in marching band, choir, orchestra. I performed at the state level in solo and ensemble contests. I was a water skier and a ballerina. It's not the typical picture of someone you would think would become addicted to meth. But I found myself in a situation where the Drug Task Force came, Child Protective Services came, and I became one of those mothers that you read about. Through that experience of going to jail and getting out, my family loved me, but the best help they could give me was not to help me at that time. And so I found myself at a halfway house, and I was 4 hours from home. So I began calling the first United Way agency that came to my rescue. That was the YWCA. I began calling them and asking for admission, and they finally got me in, and I came to the Y with a backpack and a Bible and just a tiny little ray of hope that I was going to somehow make it out of this mess that I had created for myself through my own choices. My husband was also arrested that day, and he went to prison. So I was on my own, my daughter was in my mother's care, and I just needed a home. So I come to the Y, and I had a little bedroom overlooking the Ohio River all my own, and they treated me with dignity and respect. They began filling every need that I had through other United Way agencies, through the referral process. The cohesion of these organizations is without parallel. They all work together. I didn't have to start the process over at each agency. The referral from the YWCA got me help at Echo Community Housing, got me counseling at the Lampion Center. They sent me to an eye doctor. I needed eyeglasses desperately, and they sent me to an eye doctor. I was able to take parenting classes from CASA. That was instrumental in absolving the guardianship and beginning the restructuring and rebuilding and restoration of my family. We also benefited from a banking program that United Way offered, and they had a banker come in and just teach finances and budgeting and skills that some people will just never learn along the way. You know, I watched a 35-year-old woman learn to write a check for the first time in her life with tears in her eyes. And nobody thought any differently of her. They pick you up where you are, and they will help you get to wherever you want to go, as long as you make those steps that you need to make and meet them there. Those services are without parallel. The first time I was ever introduced to United Way Agency, I wasn't aware of all the services they offered, but in desperation I called the YWCA domestic violence housing area, and I just requested information, and they were able to hook me up with the Legal Aid Society, and they were able to help me find an attorney to take my case pro bono for my divorce. I didn't necessarily want a divorce, but my husband was very volatile, and I knew he wouldn't intentionally hurt my daughter, but we needed a custody order in place so that he couldn't take her and just keep her. So they were able to help me do that and get those legal issues sorted out. And even today, the Legal Aid Society is actually taken my case for expungement of my record. They are working this $5,000 case for free. So that's going to open a lot of doors for me. I'm in school at Ivy Tech for Human Services, and I plan to go on to USI for social work. And there are a lot of agencies, like any agency that has a HUD grant would not allow me to work there because of the child neglect charge that I have on my record, even though I've taken all the steps necessary to rehabilitate myself from that. And that's never who I was. I just found myself there. I'm now serving on the board of directors of the YWCA, the place that I came to, a shell of who I am today. I bring a unique perspective that some of the women that serve on the board might not be able to view things from the angle that I do. I'm also, my husband is the lead pastor of Churches Embracing Offenders, and we serve a ministry called Restore Outreach Ministry, where we actually send a van to the Y to pick up the ladies, and I get to tell them how I did it and how they can too. I believe that the organizations that help me, they need help too, and giving back to those organizations. If I can just help one person be funded or have the opportunities that I had to change my life, then it's all worth it. I love volunteerism. I love this community, and I have a heart for broken people.